Do you have an old photo of a river or stream and you just want to make it pop? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you some techniques, including AI, that can really digitally enhance an old photo of a river or a stream. Coming right up. Hi there, friends and family. I'm Steve Clyde, and welcome to Images in Motion, where I teach you the skills for photo and video restoration from the comfort of your own computer or laptop, and I may just throw a story or two in along the way. We also talk about the most cutting-edge tools and techniques for photo enhancement that you can be using today, such as AI and other tools that are at your disposal either on smartphones or other devices, so that you can share all of these wonderful memories with your loved ones for years to come. So if you're interested in these things, then consider subscribing to this channel and hitting the bell notification so that you're alerted on any new videos that come up. All right, let's get into this. Today we're going to take some more photos from this and enhance them. This is the album where I have some of my scenic photos of Mount Hood National Forest, along with some of the rivers. And today we're going to go over some of the rivers and how to enhance those old 1970s and 1980s photos. So if you're interested in that, stick around as we now go to my den where we're going to go and finish the rest of this, and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to restore these old photos. So in this video, I'm going to go over another river photo, and this will be river photo number 6 in my 110 Pocket Instamatic Camera, which is the equivalent of having a 17mm film, so it's pretty low quality. And as we can see here in my 1978 nature film, by the way, that is 45 years ago. Isn't that crazy? 45 years ago, this photo is that old. So check this out. We got 1978 nature album, Mount Hood, Estacada, and it says river, but it's actually the Clackamas River, 110 Pocket Instamatic Camera, river photo 6. This is when we used to go up wood cutting up in the Estacada, Mount Hood National Forest Range here, and we would get the logs that the loggers would leave, that would leave us. And there it is. For some reason it opened twice. Let me try that again. There we go. So there it is. Not much to this. I think I was trying to capture the ripple of this water here, and then notice how dark that forest is. I remember that. It's just so dense and packed. It was just really great. Now I think they've actually had a forest fire up there in recent years, which is kind of sad, but it'll come back. It just takes, you know, hundreds of years. It's like, but look at this old growth. It looks like the roots had kind of fallen from a tree, has fallen in the back over there. The forest is so dark and dense that it was this dark shadow in the broad daylight. Just incredible. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this up into Photoshop. So let's do that now. Something I didn't do earlier with this is I wanted to make an adjustment because the mode of this picture is low quality, so it only has 8 bits channel. I'm going to increase it to 16. It'll do its best job at interpreting the shadows as colors. And then over here I'm going to also do an auto tone. And right away you can see that took away a lot of the reds from that picture, which is really good. I'm not going to do auto color because it's really removing the color, and I don't want to do that. So I want to do some adjustments. I want to do some color lookup. I don't know if I like that one at all. So I'm going to try these color lookups to see what it looks best. So I'm just going to go down the list here. So far I kind of like that one. This one looks black and white, crisp warm look, crisp winter look. It's kind of cool the way it looked like it. Drop blues. Ew, no thanks. Ooh, that looked kind of cool. It's kind of like a black and white, but it has the green leaves. So let's keep going. Okay, this adds a little bit of a haze to it. I don't like that one. So now we're in the Fuji 125 Kodak. So it's funny because these cameras are totally newer than this old camera that took this original. Now look at that. That's really cool. This is called Futuristic Bleak 3D. It's just kind of, I don't know why, but that just brought out the texture of that water. Yeah. I don't like it too much now. So the Kodaks, interestingly enough, look pretty good. This one or this one? I think this one, this 5205, looks pretty good. Again, I'm not sure of the profile and what it's doing behind the scenes, but I really like that. I'm just going from looks. Okay, that's about it. So let me pick this one that I did earlier, which one was that? Kodak 5205. Okay, so now if I click OK here, and if I undo that, undo, redo, undo, redo. I almost like not doing that because when I did it, it did take away some of the shadowing. I made it darker, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I just want to experiment. Sometimes you have to just experiment with these photos, especially these old photos, just to see what kind of thing will work. I mean, obviously there's these photo filters that you can play around with too, and you can get some pretty good, pretty amazing results from that even. But what I want to do here is I want to take the filter, and I'm just going to go into, so I'm going to go into the camera raw filter. And I'm going to play with some of the exposures again, because I want to see if I can bring some of the shadowing back up in here. Whoa, that's way too bright. I think I saw Sasquatch back there. See? It's actually pretty interesting. If I bring it way bright, it looks like there's a cave back there. The forest is so dense. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up, contrast up just a hair. The highlights, I don't think I need to have the highlights up. In fact, I'm going to bring them down just a hair. The shadows again, I'm going to, oh, I'm sorry, I got the whites. Bring the shadows. I'm going to lighten them up actually, because I want to see a little bit more of the back. Okay. So now the whites. I want to bring the whites up just a hair. And then the blacks, I'm going to bring deeper. So if I bring it up high, it's just going to look washed out. So I want to bring a little bit in minus. I should have probably done the S curve before this, but we'll go back there if we need to. Okay, so now I'm not going to bump up the saturation and the vibrancy too much, maybe just a hair. Just a little bit to give it some color. I was going to adjust this curve. The cool thing is this is really similar to what we saw in that other curve. This is basically the same thing, but it's just within this tool. The problem is it's kind of hard to control in here. It's a little bit easier to control in the other. So what I've noticed is you can fine tune it here though. Now if you notice what I did here is exactly what's happening here. So this curve interprets the actual numeric value of the darks, the shadows, the highlights, and the lights. So I'm not going to color grade this any more than we already have, because again, this is a really old photo. Something I want to go back up here though and get the highlights down just a hair. Yes. Okay. This is the shadows. This is the dark. Okay. I think the highlights need to come down just a little bit so that we can get the rocks. There we go. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That's awesome. All right. So this is exciting right here. I'm going to hit OK. Did you see what just happened? If I undo, this is how it was before. This is how it is now. That's awesome. I really like this. This is really turning out good. So I'm going to start saving this right away so I don't lose any of these changes. I'm going to save it as a Photoshop Photo 6. We're going to call this River Photo 6 Edited. All right. Now there's another thing that I wanted to try within this tool, and that was the, I don't know if you saw, last time I went through the Topaz Gigapixel AI tool, which would digitally enhance the photo. But the cool thing is it's also located right here on the filter. Now we only get the sharpen, mask, and the denoiser. I'm going to try the denoiser to see if it does any benefit, and then also the sharpen. It doesn't have the gigapixel upscaler, but let's try a few of these. Let's try the denoiser. So far I'm not seeing anything really jumping out at me. So I'm going to close without saving that. Let's do the Topaz Sharpen AI mask. All right, so now it's working. It's thinking. Right now I have it motion very blurry. This is sharpen up here on the right. When you have this highlighted, it'll automatically use whatever's recommended based on the photo. Now I see this already changing, but it's so close up I can't tell. So I'm going to zoom out. It's updating, and boom. Okay, so what did it do? Okay. So it looks like it got a little bit more detail. It looks like it got... The problem with it, though, is when it did the detail, I tried to get more detail, you notice that it put some white artifacts in here, which then we'd probably have to use the denoiser for. So I don't know. I think I don't want to apply that. Well, let's try to apply this. The problem is I don't like that it didn't create a new layer, and I don't want to affect this layer. I wonder if I can undo this. Yeah, I could undo it. So allow me to undo it. I'm just going to undo it. Let me see if I can set the tone again. Color, contrast. I think I like where it is right now. I might do one more thing though. That's almost tempting, because you see what it did is it took away the white on the shadowing. And what I want to do now is I want to try and find the color, replicate color. Might be on the match color. Okay, that's what I was going for. I was going for the blues to come out. There was the other one where I think it was a color wheel, or it might be the color balancer. Don't know where it is, but anyway, I think that's really what I wanted to do. Levels, no. So now I'm pretty okay with this. So now I want to export this and save it and compare it with our original. So let's do that now. Go up here to File, Export As, and I'm going to export as the same JPEG. I'm going to do the maximum amount I can save it. And now we should have that in Photo 6 folder. All right, so now I'm going to go over to, there it is. So here's the original. And now here's the enhanced. Original, enhanced. Original, enhanced. Original on the left, enhanced on the right. I did notice that I kept these reds a little bit, and that's okay because it had that sort of red tint in there. I could probably get rid of that by going into the blacks and bringing down the black contrast, and it'd look a little bit more natural. But I don't mind that as long as I got this blue water back, because there was a little hue, a little greenish blue hue to the water when you're there. So it does bring back more of the truth and trueness of that water. But if I do want to enhance it even a little bit more, I would probably go to the curves and just enhance, like bring it out like that, where the water is enhanced, but the trees in the background are a little bit darker. Now we're just getting distortion now. This is not good. So I'm going to cancel that. But you can see where I'm going to go with this, because if we really wanted to, we could really take this up a notch. But I think for myself, for my preservation of a family photo memory or a memory of the river, I think this is just great. I mean, it's just a random picture that apparently I thought was pretty cool at the time. And so what I want to do is I want to do an upscale on this to see if AI could even draw out any more details. Don't know for sure, but we're going to try it. I'm going to first sharpen it. No, I think I already sharpened it enough. So what I want to do is downscale to upscale, because as I said before in the past, it seems like it upscales what it thinks needs to be upscaled. So we're going to, but right now, because I took this as an iPhone photo, it made it 3,500 pixels by 2625. That's just way too big. So I'm going to really tone it down to, boy, I don't know, maybe like this, 20%. Okay, so now that is probably more along the lines of what it is. Okay, so now I'm going to export this as, I'm going to say 775. I don't know if that's the actual dimension. It went so quick I didn't even really pay attention. But the point is, it's a lower scale quality, and if I double click on this, you can see it opens smaller. And if I zoom in, it's really pixelated. So that's what I want. So let's launch GigaPixel, Topaz GigaPixel. I'm going to drag and drop the photo here into there. Okay, it's already starting to work. I'm going to leave it on low quality, low resolution, because it is a low resolution photo. Normally they give you a preview that's a tiny window of the whole photo, but because this is a low quality film, I'm using the whole entire film. Wow. This is probably one of the best qualities I think I've received on one of my old 110 Pocket Instamatic Camera. And here's the reason. Notice what happened here. As I'm zooming here, I'll zoom in just so you can see. As I'm going over here, look at the details in that root structure. Look how it brought it back. And look at the waves. Look at the ripples in the water. That is amazing. That is amazing. I am really happy with this, the way this has turned out. Now, incidentally, let's look at HQ, because HQ is supposed to also be kind of more of a standard high quality for a photo. I mean, it's okay. It actually probably more realistic, but the low, I always love just to enhance something as to the nth degree, and this is probably one of the better ones that I've seen turn out. And it could be a lot of different factors. It probably was, a lot of it has to do with the fact that I toned down these shadows, or these highlights. They were so bright, I had to do 2 different versions, if you remember, to tone those ripples down. So let's save this. It's going to be 6. Yeah, we're going to do the 6. So it's going to be, so it's almost back to where it was, a little bit more enhanced. Oh, and it was 7. I said 775, but it's really 700 by 525. And maybe that's the trick, because I'm really doing this kind of off the cuff with you here. So I think what I need to do is make sure that any photo that you take that you're trying to upscale from an old photo and it's a low quality resolution, and you want the Google Enhancer to upscale it, you have to almost downscale it again. I could do a test here just to see if that's true. So let me see. Let me launch GigaPixel again. I'm just curious to see if this will work. So I'm going to drag this. Well, first of all, I got to get the GigaPixel there. I'm going to drag this in here. So this is again the full resolution. Let's see what it does. Yeah, right away it says not updated because it's just too much to process, which is silly because it's still the same resolution. It's not any different. If that makes any sense. It thinks that there's so much resolution because of the dimensions that this photo has. Yeah, look at this. Hardly anything. There's nothing changed. And you remember the other one, it had changed. It had, wait, we'll have to wait for it to update here. Yeah, hardly anything. So it's something to do. So that's a trick. There's something to do with the photo itself. So if you have a problem using an upscaler, like I use the Topaz gigapixel, and it's not looking correct, or it didn't really even look like it did anything, you may need to downsize it or reduce the size in a way, after you did all your adjustments, reduce the size to like a 700 or 640 by 480, or even an 800 by 600, you know, something old school, so that then the gigapixel can then look and see, oh, this is a leaf. I can update that leaf. I don't think it's even thinking it needs to update it because the scaling is so big already. So, but anyway, this has really been something. Let's take a look at both these photos now. So right here is the original. Next we'll show the enhanced. Let me close this. Next we'll show the first enhancement. So original, enhanced, original, enhanced, and then I adjusted it a little bit more and we upscaled it with the Google Pixel Upscaler. So here's before the AI upscaler, and this is after. Wow. I am just so impressed with this. I mean, look at this. Before, after. Look at the leaves. They're not perfect, but from where they used to be. And look at these root structures that it tried to bring back, these sticks. You know, again, it's not perfect, but it's just amazing. And I really like the water. That just turned out really well. It almost makes me want to go back and do all my other photos now and see if I can gain a little bit more clarity. And speaking of clarity, when I had the camera off, I decided to take a little bit more of a crack at this one on the right, and I actually was able to remove the reds out of that dark area. And so check this one out. Not only is the color clearer, but now the vibrancy and the natural colors are there, and that's really incredible. So I wanted to kind of share this with you because I didn't have my camera on when I did that. Because as you know, you've been on this journey with me now for 6 photos, and this one by far I think turned out the best. Wouldn't you agree? If you do, leave your comments in the comments section below. I'd love to hear about them. And have you had this issue with upscaling old photos, and did you have to downscale them in order to upscale them and get the detail back? So if you had, let me know. This was a really good proof of concept for that, and I hope you really found value. If you did, hit the like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and I hope to see you in the next video.